The next to last race before the Indianapolis 500 is upon us. The AT&T Champ Car World Series grid waltzes through Miami for the Hard Rock 300 here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. And to spend some time in Florida before we head back up to the Brickyard for the month of May. And what an interesting turn of events we have had over the first 6 races going into this event. For everyone tuning in, we welcome you to AVN Sports coverage of the AT&T Champ Car World Series and the IndyCar World Championship all season long. The championship competition has heated up in a way we've not seen in quite some time. 3 drivers within 5 points. Kuni Kinoshita leads the way in the point standings and sits on the front row pole position as well, so an extra point in her hand here tonight. Evangeline Porter, though, not far away, 1 point adrift in the championship conversation. Also starting top 10, starting 9th inside row 5. Thomas Rogers, 4 points adrift after a wild race at Nashville 2 weeks ago. Sits 4 points behind, but has a lot of crawling forward to do. Starts this race from 26th and last on the grid after serving a penalty for an engine failure. 26 cars. Tight at the top of the field, tight at the back end of the field. This is going to be a very interesting conversation because it's about getting momentum, getting experience, and putting everything together before you head to the Brickyard, where you'll spend the better part of 3 weeks getting ready for the greatest spectacle in racing. That being said, the starting grid, we'll run through it here real quick. The points are at the bottom of your screen, the top 10 at least, bottom of your screen. Kuni Kinoshita and Sakura Ishibashi. It is a Cat Devil Racing front row to kick things off here from Miami. Row 2, Wyatt Jones alongside Matheus Michelin. Michelin with an amazing qualifying effort. That 99 car did a phenomenal job for Striker Motorsports in the top 5 ahead of row 3's Mia Valdez and Nicole Lechty. Elise Alexander and Andrew Draco sit in row number 4. A good qualifying effort for Andrew Draco. His first major oval race since his injury in Melbourne. Missed Texas. Raced Nashville 2 weeks ago, but a little bit different here. Now back in the slimmed down Super Speedway kit. Looking pretty good right now, the 13 car is. Evangeline Porter and Stephanie Porter-Kelly start in row 5. And we'll start covering some of the penalties here. Catherine Hart qualified 10th, but has a penalty from an engine failure from Nashville 2 weeks ago. We'll start this race in 20th place, so it moves Stephanie Porter-Kelly up her home race. She starts top 10 alongside her sister Evangeline Porter there. BK Glover and Simona LaRoe in row number 6, ahead of the row of Alicia Kovalkiewicz and Cameron Jackson sitting in row 7. Cameron Jackson, the winner from Nashville, breaking his almost 4-year winless streak after winning in 2020 at Richmond. Esther Hofson and Juliette Takani sit in row number 8. Shufan Zhang and Marcus Petrovich in row number 9. Then Thomas Rogers and Catherine Hart, as we mentioned. Sorry, not Thomas Rogers and Catherine Hart. But Catherine Hart in row number 10. It looks like I actually put Thomas Rogers twice in my notes here. Instead, it is Shufan Zhang moving forward here in the conversation as part of that group that just shuffled upwards in there. Shufan Zhang, Marcus Petrovich in row 9. Row 10, that's where you'll find Kage Kobayashi, the 42. He's alongside Catherine Hart, Bianca Lucero, Anastasia von Sonnen. They all move forward as well. You end up having Natalia Velisevich, Astrid Crane, and Thomas Rogers, all your final row of cars here as everything gets ready to go here. So a lot of craziness expected here in Homestead. That's the full 26-car field. Way easier to go through the 26-car field than what it is to go through the 32-car field in the Challenger Series that raced at Sonoma last week. We get to see both series in action in May 17th for the Challenger Series, May 19th, the 111th Indianapolis 500. That is what's in front of all these drivers right now, but in order to get there, they have to get through Homestead-Miami. Let's go ahead and send it trackside for those most famous words in all of motorsports, and let's kick this party off.
Drivers, start your engines!
In the 26 machines on pit lane. They fire up to life here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Over 15,000 horsepower amongst these machines to get us going in Miami. Again, Cat Devil Racing front row, looking good so far. Ahead of Wyatt Jones, who looks really good in qualifying, was fastest in practice on Friday. Alongside Matthias Michelin, who put his Striker Motorsports car near the front of the field. That Chevrolet team looking really good. Both major Chevrolet teams looking fantastic, because Red Bull Islet Racing's in there as well, with Nicole Lecter, the defending series champion. Mixture of cars throughout the field. Ford Raptor Pace Truck rolls around this 1.5 mile oval. It'll soon be showtime in the Sunshine State. Green flag flies and the Hard Rock 300 is underway. We're racing in Miami. Everyone rolls to turns 1 and 2. Let the battle begin in earnest. Some new looks throughout the field. We'll point them out as they come to us. Kinoshita leads the way. Wyatt Jones heat-seeking his way to the front. From third on the grid. Will not leave lap 1. That'll still be Kinoshita's favor. But Wyatt Jones wanting to get to the point quick and early. Also keep in mind, there is Elise Alexander as well. The 11 already back up to the front. Evangeline Porter there as well. Car dropping back, I believe that is the 34, Mia Valdez. And it is. Already dropping back outside the top 20, almost to the very back of the field. It'll be 3 wide early on, everyone with fresh tires. Then it thins out. You see that 3 wide right now, mixing it up. Sakura Ishibashi fell back early as well, so did Artyom Kozlov. And Stephanie Porter-Kelly. A lot of drivers flying back. And you see how quickly things change and how much things shuffle. Wyatt Jones out front, Evangeline Porter in second. Third place, up to third, Cameron Jackson, new look, PlayStation number 19. On track for the first time this season. Ahead of Kage Kobayashi, who's looking pretty good right now. Canosa dropped down out of the top 5, but moving back forward behind Matthias Michelin. But keep an eye, there's the 20, that tone. Number 20 of Shufan Zhang moving forward as well. Dragon Motorsports, they've got something to say in the early stages of this race. Behind the top 3, it is a madhouse. It is a hornet's nest. And you're seeing that Kenosha drop down out of the top 10 now. Cat Devil Racing led the opening lap, and that's all they've seen. Shufan Zhang, 10th in the points, did not have a great time in Nashville. Right now, getting around Michelin for 4th. On Shufan Zhang's heels is BK Glover. Glover in that red, black, and white Mobil 1 machine being put 3 wide, because there is the rookie. Current Rookie of the Year favorite, Julia Takani. Takani put Glover and Zhang 3 wide, and here comes Esther Hofson trying to join the mix as well. Cameron Jackson's looking really good right now. 3rd place right now behind the gearbox of Evangeline Porter. Wyatt Jones continues to lead the way early. Takani up to 4th and clear of Hofson and the Hornets Nest behind. There's Alexander and Glover. And they will continue to duke it out. There is Andrew Draco defending the inside lane from Astra Crane. Sakura Ishibashi trying to make her way back forward after having an early drop out of the top 10. Back into it now. Ahead of Michelin. Also in the inside lane moving forward is the 88, the McDonald's car of Bianca Lucero. The San Marinese moving forward ahead of Kuni Kenosha, the pole sitter and the championship leader entering this race. They'll continue to go 3 wide here. But the outside lane, not favorable in these cars. It works a lot in the stock cars that come here every year for the NAMR Cup Series. Outside lane, not so favorable in these Champ Car machines that can push 220 miles an hour. Fastest lap 24.5, 220.0 by Takani, who just had another fastest lap. Again, the 24.5s, but 220.1 once again by Takani, who is looking very strong right now. And Takani up near the front of the field, right into the slipstream of Porter, who's been passed by Cameron Jackson. Jackson trying to go 2 in a row. He's never done that in his career. But he's got a driver looking for his first win up ahead of him, Wyatt Jones, who is in a sparring contest, a war of words, with Champ Car COO Christina Nguyen. Porter third, Takani in fourth, Glover fifth, and it's Alexander Andrew Draco in seventh after starting this race. And AT dropped back and now back forward ahead of Sakura Ishibashi, Esther Hofson in ninth, and Asher Crane so far the gateway to the top 10 in that 10th spot. Catherine Hart started this race in 20th, already up into 13th. As everyone jockeys for position, struggling early on though. Both Michelin and Kenosha further back afield. Not struggling nearly as much as the other two Team Impulse cars. Artyom Kozlov in 23rd. Thomas Rogers about to be dispatched and once again put down in 26th where he started. Both of the Highlight Racing cars, the Rebel Highlight Racing cars of Lechty and Leroux, also outside the top 20 at the moment. Lechty 21st. Wyatt Jones continues to lead. He has led 11 laps so far. The opening lap led by Kenosha. Wyatt Jones watching as the Honda of Jackson and the other Ford of Porter battle it out for second. Toyota in fourth with Takani, who got her first podium in Nashville 2 weeks ago. Looking for third, gets around Jackson, looks to the inside of Porter, trying to go from fourth to second in one lap. And this allows Wyatt Jones a little bit of more breathing space once again as this cluster battles it out. Takani up to second. She's looking really good right now in Miami, at home, at ease, at a track she's not been to before this weekend. Not missing a beat, getting up to speed. Asher Crane, fastest lap, 24.4. That's 221.1 miles an hour for the Allison Alien. Battling right now with Bianca Lucero after being dispatched by Kobayashi. Kobayashi now in the top 10. Ford's trying to move their way forward. And Takani right to the gearbox of Jones. Wyatt Jones looked really good. So did Takani. So does Jackson. Out of four, down the front straightaway. Really good crowd here in Homestead. This was less of a battle and more of a parade last year. This was Team Impulse flexing its muscles at a crazy time period last season. That was before they won their third straight 500 with Artyom Kozlov last year. This time, Impulse looks nowhere near invincible, looks very vulnerable in all reality here. Jackson just unable to really close in on Wyatt Jones the same way that Porter and Takani did. Seems like he works well in a lot of drafts, like a lot of slipstream. It seems like his car does better once it gets in that dirty air. Once it gets more cleaner, it seems like it drags out. It seems like there's a little bit too much drag on that 19 car for him to actually sit and lead. And they can tune that down a little bit. They can change the front wing if that's where they feel the drag is coming from. But it changes the balance of the car, and he's going to need to be on top of that. Andrew Draco making his way forward. Takani stuck on the outside lane, not really able to fight while being on that outer lane. And Hobson unable to really take advantage because BK Glover filled the hole that she was aiming for. So Takani's bleeding stops at 6th place. Draco up to the top 5 after having a really strong run, finishing second in Nashville 2 weeks ago. was very confused by the lack of qualifying pace in Nashville. That showed to be a little bit of a one-off here. 7th fastest in qualifying, 10th fastest in practice, but very racy, very raceable for Draco, who moves up to 4th ahead of Cameron Jackson. A move he could not pull off in Nashville, he pulls off with ease here in Miami. Meanwhile, up to 3rd, Elise Alexander. Still looking for her first Champ Car victory and trying to lead the home Chevrolet. Wyatt Jones still leads the way. It's Fords 1-2, Chevrolet 3rd, another Ford in 4th. Then you have your first Honda and first Toyota. But Toyota's in a bundle with Takani and Glover in the mix. Glover 7th, Ishibashi 8th, Hobson 9th. Catherine Hart has made her way back to where she was qualified at earlier today. And that was in 10th. From 20th to 10th, up 10 spots around Kobayashi. Goes to 31. Kobayashi in 11th. Stephanie Porter-Kelly's made her way back forward. Here in the 12th spot. Ahead of Lucero, who's looking pretty good right now. Shufan Jang falling backwards. Now trying to stop the bleeding there. Getting ahead of the 96 of Kovalkiewicz. Then there's Michelin, Crane. Kenosha has not made a lot of inroads forward. Neither has the 7 of Natalia Velicevic, who had a penalty for an engine failure from Nashville. Rogers could not serve his penalty from the race before Nashville, from Texas. After qualifying last at Nashville, had to start serving that penalty here. Only served 3 positions of his 10th-place grid drop after qualifying 23rd. But once again, crawling forward here, ahead of Petrovic, ahead of Kozlov here. Then you have Valdez, Lecty, Lucero, Von Sonen, last of the runners so far. Meanwhile, Andrew Draco's made his way back up to the 2nd spot. War of words between these two, Wyatt and Draco, over the last year and change. And now they're looking at each other at the front of the field. A little bit of contact between Glover and Takani. Shuffles Glover to the very outer groove, the dirtiest part of the racetrack. And it penalizes Takani as well, because now she's up there being passed by 3 cars in one go. Ishibashi, Alexander, and Hart all get through. And Takani now dropped out of the top 10 and being dispatched by Lucero. So they work forward once more. Hart now in that 5th spot. Phantom Motors have come to play. Did not have a bad qualifying performance, and like what they had in Nashville, that was a big sticking point for the team. They really refined that going in the Homestead. They want to be a threat. They want to contend for more of these race wins. In order to do that, you need to be further afield near the front. Esther Hofson at home, Miami native. Also in the top 10 at the moment, there is Stephanie Porter-Kelly, an Orlando native. Catherine Hart stems the bleeding, gets in front of Kobayashi, and now tries to charge back forward ahead of Kobayashi and Glover. Kobayashi in the top 10 right now in 8th position. Alexander in 10th behind Glover. The laps, they are ticking away quickly. We're already on lap 31 of 200 in this 200 lap affair, 300 miles. And we have ourselves a contest in the opening stanza. Draco 2nd, under threat from the 19 of Jackson, who moves him out of the way. Draco tried shutting the door, it didn't work. And Porter in the mix as well. Up to the top 5, Porter-Kelly. Ahead of Catherine Hart. Catherine Hart on the outside lane, driving backwards a couple spots. Will lose out to Hobson and Kobayashi. Glover drops in line behind Hart as Draco drops down to 4th behind Porter. Jones continues to lead the way. 32 laps uncontested at the moment. Only lap he didn't lead was the first one. Kenosha got him by a nose on that first lap. He's not looked back since. Kenosha, meanwhile, has dropped like a stone. Sitting right now stuck in the 17th spot behind Asher Crane. And this is a very close championship competition already in the mix. Again, somebody's scrolling at the bottom of your screen throughout this race. Kenosha entered with a 1-point advantage, gained a point with pole position and a point for leading a lap here. Wyatt Jones outside the top 10 by just a little over a race, 55 points adrift. As he's been dispatched for the first time from the race lead by Cameron Jackson. The Dragon Motorsports team looking pretty good, at least on the 19 car side. And here comes Andrew Draco, filling the void, filling the space to second place. Wyatt Jones had some sunshine, had some daylight. 4-car fight. Two different manufacturers. Honda leads over 3 Fords. But Andrew Draco showing some fight right now. After missing 2 races, a lot of work to do. But he knows that, he understands it, and he knows it's game on. So Draco, once again, stuck doing battle with the 19 of Jackson, now with Wyatt Jones in the mirror, and Evangeline Porter in 4th. Laps continue to wind away quickly. 2 laps a minute with change to go. 24.3, 221.6 mile an hour lap by Shufin Jane, the fastest in the first 38 laps of this race. Fastest laps pretty well done at this point as tires begin to wear the Firestone Firehawk tires. Set to go some distance here tonight. It's set to be a 2, maybe 3 stop race, depending on how the fuel mileage goes. If they can get beyond lap 66, then it should be a pretty easy, a pretty clandestine 2-stop event. But it's about getting to about lap 60. If you can get beyond 70, then you're made. We didn't see very many do a full fuel run. I'm assuming that they're trying to disguise sort of where their mileage is sitting right now. Only one we really saw do any legitimate like full mileage running was the 21 and the 42 at the Vontair Racing duo. They went a full fuel run. So we know that they can get to about that mileage. We just don't know how much they were saving. It doesn't look like Kobayashi saving at all, though, up to the top 5 for the 42 car. That Corsair, yellow and black. That primary look for the 42. Highlighter yellow up to the top 5 as Draco, the Adidas car, up to 3rd around Porter. Wyatt Jones is closed in as they try to pull away from this group. A lot of the field still put together. There's last place. That is now Nicole Lecty, who's dropped down into the back of the field. And here comes Wyatt Jones, peeks to the inside. Wants the race lead back. Jackson's led 7 laps. Wyatt Jones 34. Wyatt Jones back to the point. And that slowdown as those two battle allow Draco and Porter back into the slipstream. And again, we talk about how quick these laps go. We're already almost a quarter of the way through this race. Draco in 3rd. As we sit right now, we've been green for less than 20 minutes at this point. But it is a marathon, not a sprint. Soon we will see those first pit stops underway. It's a matter of if you're on the right side or wrong side of lap 68. If you can get beyond lap 70, piece of cake. You need to at least be able to split it into thirds. Lap 67, lap 134 gets you to your lap 200 distance just barely. Wyatt Jones preferring that clean air at the front of the field for that 25. Body armor, machine. Ludwig Motorsports still looking for its first Champ Car victory. The three-time NAMR Cup Series champion. Very vocal on social media. Very vocal in the press. Drawing the ire of a lot of drivers. Had a good chance at Nashville 2 weeks ago before he got interrupted by Marcus Petrovich on an errand pit entry. Not wanting to be denied. It's easy to not deal with traffic just by being in front of it all. That's the mentality, and they're finally in daylight. Porter looks to the inside, wants third place back from Draco. No one settling for less right now. Kobayashi's gotten right to the gearbox. Porter couldn't really make any inroads though on Draco. Now does on the exit as Draco gets tight. Super Speedway kit. Very little downforce, especially at the rear of the car. But if you tune it out too much, you'll lose at the front end too. You'll wash out, understeer. Especially in the exits here where it drops out and the car unloads, where you feel the G-forces become a little more vertical instead of just the lateral G-forces that you feel in the corner. The dropout of the corner can really affect the way the car handles. Draco felt that a little bit, had to drop out of it. Immediately gets right back to the inside of Porter, looking for that third spot once again. Really would love to carry this momentum forward and get more, and that's exactly where he's going to go. They just can't do anything with it there because Jackson's already in that mix, and here comes Porter Kelly. Two long-time championship adversaries now side by side for third. Porter Kelly will be split in the middle, 3 wide. Kobayashi wants a chance at the podium, and it's going to allow Cameron Jackson a chance to breathe. Here comes Takani, who dropped back earlier. And now the ebb and flow begins once again. We have passed the quarter-way mark. Lap 52 underway now. And here comes Draco. 2 black and white cars, the Adidas number 13 of Draco to the inside, as here comes Cameron Jackson, peeks to the inside. Looking at the race lead, couldn't get that job done there. Porter up to 5th once again, ahead of Takani, who slots back in line. Porter battling former teammates once upon a time. There used to be a lot of bad blood between Porter and Draco. They resolved those differences. And now Draco battling with Porter. Ahead of Takani, ahead of Lucero, who's made it into the top 10. Needs a good run here. So does Ishibashi, so does Porter Kelly and Catherine Hart. A lot of drivers in this group looking for a good run. Shufan Zhang needs a recovery drive. Sitting 10th in points, would love to get a little bit closer. And further afield, see if we can get all the way back there to Artyom Kozlov, sitting 26th and last at the moment. Not a sight you see very often and almost out of the draft. Something's got to be amiss in that 3 car. Not something we see very often either. Kenosha sitting 25th. The last 2 IndyCar World Champions, 24th and 25th on the grid. As things stand, they are very far and away from where they want to be. As Jackson takes over the race lead, here comes Kobayashi. Jones put 3 wide. Kobayashi saying, "Thank you very much, I'll have that." But he's set up really good for Andrew Draco, who moves into 3rd. Porter in 5th behind Jones. Jones settles in off the podium at the moment. They brought a new piece of equipment, similar to what they used in Fontana for the Challenger Series. It is an air dam in the side pods, blocking some of the downforce generated and the ground effects that these teams have created. This air dam limits the amount of space that these teams can use on the ground effects that to generate that additional downforce. It operates a little bit differently. With the Challenger Series, they just gave them generic, a new like spec part for the underfloor of the car. With this, it's almost like a gurney flap to block off those Venturi vanes. And it's working right now to incredible effect. We're seeing an incredible race so far. Andrew Draco to the point. And Wyatt Jones seemed to have a really good beat on it early on, but now more drivers as this run goes along beginning to figure out where the balance of this car should be to get it to the liking right now. And you're seeing the drivers that have struggled the most. Kinoshita, there is Artyom Kozlov there still in the last position, and both Kozlov and Kinoshita nearly losing the draft here. Not something you see very often at all. Wyatt Jones now beginning to be overtaken by cars en masse. Falling off later into this run. We're into the twilight of this first stanza. What could be 3 acts in this race. The first, second, and third determined by pit stops. Lucero, out of nowhere, the Obsidian Racing team. Obviously, they're doing good in the Challenger Series with Riikka Venäläinen, but Bianca Lucero, the 2-time Atlantic Series champion, showing her medal in full season competition after filling in for Isabel Espinosa after she was injured last season. Lucero now up to speed and challenging for some really solid points right now. Don't think we expected Obsidian to be in this position with Lucero, who has not had to develop a car before, has been the only driver on that team to worry about developing. So it looks like she's giving them pretty decent feedback because they are punching well above their weight class right now. Obviously losing 3 spots there to Jones, Ishibashi, and Hart, but not a bad look right now for the 88 of Lucero. Still top 10. Ahead of Shufeng Chang. Ishibashi looks to the inside of Jones. No dice there. Andrew Draco sees the sunset. This race will transition in the night. The lights are on. Porter in second, Jackson in third, Takani in fourth. The old generation meets the new guard. And Takani really raising that flag high because there's Porter Kelly in fifth. And then you have Wyatt Jones, Sakura Ishibashi. A lot of veteran drivers in this field. Think about some of the experience for these drivers right now. Stephanie Porter Kelly, the eldest States driver of the group, leader of the Champ Car Drivers Association. Her career started in 2002, 22 years ago. You look forward. Cameron Jackson joined the series in 2014. Started with Obsidian in the 88 car, now piloted by Lucero. Spent 2 seasons there, 2014 and 2015, before moving to Cat Double Racing for 2016. Takani passed by Porter Kelly as Porter goes for the front of the field. Both Porter sisters, top 4 at the moment. Evangeline, we beat this like a dead horse. That winless drought continues to get longer, has not won a race in either the NAMRA Cup Series or the Champ Car World Series since 2016 at the Euro Speedway Lausitzring. And a photo finish with Jesus Cristobal. Looking to break that streak. Andrew Draco looking to continue his winning ways. Finished second last week at Nashville. Won the first race in Night City last year. Porter-Kelly up to 4th. Ishibashi up to the top 5. Wyatt Jones continues to fall a little bit. Would have to believe that his tires have begun to fall away a little bit with how much he was pushing early on to lead those 47 laps that he led. But Takani also falling backwards here as they go too wide. Trying to get around Porter. Porter says, no thank you, I'll stay here. The lights continue to get brighter. As the sun sets, the track gets colder, and it changes the way this race looks and the way the dynamic shifts. Jackson up to 2nd once again. Porter stuck defenseless against her older sister. Porter-Kelly back up front. There is the 31, Catherine Hart. Started this race 20th, now 5th. And here comes Porter-Kelly on the charge to 2nd place. The 60 not being denied, gets around Jackson, so does Porter. The 81 goes around. It leaves the 31 of Hart, the 33 of Ishibashi. And then the 95 and the 25 go side by side to 3 and 4. Takani tried pinching the nose of Jones. Had to relent and let the 25 go back through as he begins his charge back forward. Really good looking crowd here at Homestead. They're getting a treat of a show. An ever so popular event. $60,000 seats available here at Homestead. Capacity crowd, 45,000. Here to bear witness to the Hard Rock 300. And what a race they've missed. Andrew Draco now out front with a decent margin. It's taken 76 laps. We're looking at a 2-stop race easily here. And you see the Bedlam in the mix. No one's taken a pit stop yet. Everyone's still rolling at the moment, but you see cars straggling further behind. This is not really charted territory for any of these drivers here. That is Alicia Kovalkiewicz, Artyom Kozlov, Kuni Kinoshita, Anastasia Sponsonen, Nicole Lechty, and Astra Crane in the back of the field. That is the back of the field. Race wins and championships galore for that group at the back of the field. And that's the back. And the front of the field's even more stacked. You want to talk about the championships. 2 championships in the Champ Car World Series for Andrew Draco. 3-time NAMRA Cup Series champion Wyatt Jones back up to 3rd. 3 World Championships in Champ Car and a World Championship in Formula 1 for Porter-Kelly in 4th. Catherine Hart, right now the leading rookie in this race, doing her best to charge forward. And there is the 21 of Marcus Petrovic, who started this race near the back of the field. Did not have a great qualifying effort. It's taken him a little bit, but he's found his legs. Bunch of race wins for Sakura Ishibashi as well. Still looking for her first title. BK Glover just broke his win streak with a win at home at Texas. Thomas Rogers, an Indy 500 win, and several others. 2 wins to kick off this year in Adelaide and Melbourne. You have the 2014 World Champion, Mia Valdez. 2013 Grand Prix World Champion, Cameron Jackson in this mix, and he's not even top 10 right now. 2-time Atlantic Series champion, Bianca Lucero. The shuffling is intense as Draco leads the way. Fords 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because there's Catherine Hart. They were worried about Nashville. Did they miss the mark? on their first upgrade rollout. I think they're strong at just the right time. You see Catherine Hart charging forward, looking really good right now. Ooh, really good. Really good move there. Phantom Motors 1-2 now. And this was what the doctor ordered. For Phantom Motors, here comes the 81 of Porter. Around for third. Draco has now led 25 laps in this race. Wyatt Jones has led 47. Cameron Jackson led 10. Porter's led 1. So is so is Kenosha has led 1. Fifth place, Porter Kelly. Still looking to lead her first lap here in Miami this season. Sitting top 5, right place to be. Here comes the 34 of Valdez. Valdez around Petrovic and ahead of Lucero, who's also making headway. 3 wide, Petrovic on the wrong side of it. And there is Thomas Rogers, the 2, looking at a chance to take the championship lead. But it is a tight contest here. There's Leroux, the 77. Jackson continuing to fall backwards. I think his tires are feeling it more than just about anybody else's so far. Being put 3 wide by his teammate and by Mateus Michelin. Michelin gets the best of the bunch. Everyone's still put together in this race. We've not seen any islands of cars. Everyone's still pretty well put together. And that's not something we were expecting. We were expecting to see some, obviously it's spread out a little bit here. But everyone's still put together. Everyone's still in drafting distance. They can still fight with each other, and there's still a chance for everyone to make it. Obviously, that'll change as pit stops take place, which are overdue at this point. I think everyone largely underestimating how things are looking. And as I speak, there goes Andrew Draco. He'll be the first one to dive. And he'll make his pit stop first and right on cue. And he is the only one. That gives Catherine Hart the race lead for the first time tonight. Ahead of Porter. Ahead of Wyatt Jones, Porter Kelly, and now Valdez, your top 5. But Wyatt Jones, a pit stop in hand, and here comes the other Phantom Motors car in pit lane on cue. And not alone this time. Believe that is Leroux, that is Alexander all in. Porter now leads. So pit stops happening staggered. Around lap 90, so 90 laps. So that means that this is going to be a very interesting 2-stop race still. But that means that that second pit stop's got to happen around lap 180 as Wyatt Jones comes in. So does Thomas Rogers and a couple others. So that leaves Porter and Porter Kelly, the sisters, front of the field. Here in Homestead as we approach the halfway point in this race. Racing less than 38 minutes. And we've already gotten to almost the halfway point. Porter Kelly will now lead as Porter comes in. SPK out front. And that's a huge gaggle of cars coming down pit lane. That was the bulk of the field. Cars coming out, Alexander and Leroux. And they got to be careful. This is where things can get very treacherous at the front of the field. Porter Kelly comes in safely. That's the important part. We see more cars coming in. Mia Valdez, now the race leader. And just Takani, just adrift. Again, pit stops incoming for the rest of those that need to come in. Everyone knows it. Valdez is in. So is Takani. With a little bit better pit entry, there is Velicevic, Kobayashi, Crane, and Lecty. Porter comes out. Could be in the race lead over Hart and Draco, who had a phenomenal pit stop. There is Thomas Rogers, who had an even better one. More cars on pit lane here. Cars leaving pit lane now. That is Porter Kelly. Leaving pit lane. Will not be race leader, but will be in touch. As Catherine Hart goes for the race lead. Successful pit stop window. All cars leaving pit lane now. Really good running for the field. And it looks like Valdez will shuffle out just outside the top 5. Because there's Porter Kelly. And then there's Rogers and Wyatt Jones on warmer tires. Valdez is in the mix. 100% in the mix right now. A little bit of shuffling between Rogers and Valdez as they get around the slower Valdez, who's still on colder tires, getting those tires heated up quickly. And Wyatt Jones will also get around here on the outside lane. One of the few times the outside lane is effective is when a car is coming out of pit lane for the first time. And you see the same thing going on here with Takani and Velicevic, who had, again, really good pit stops here. And it looks like the overcut kind of effective there for some. It worked for Velicevic and Rogers. Helped Valdez a little bit, at least stay in the conversation. Undercut not so effective for these cars back here. This is Lecty, Kovalkiewicz, and Kinoshita. Catherine Hart on an island right now because her teammate, Andrew Draco, is harassing the 81 of Porter for second place. A lot of lead changes so far in this race in Miami. A lot of drivers have had their hands on the top step. On lap 100 right now, this is the halfway lap we're completing. Sorry, excuse me. We're on lap 100 now. Counted ahead of myself there. Lap 100 now. Completing 99. Draco being passed by Porter Kelly. By Wyatt Jones, and then by Thomas Rogers. Andrew Draco falls back to 6th place. As Porter tries to close in on Catherine Hart. Not too uncommon to see rookies be competitive for race wins. We only have 2 full-time rookies this season looking for a race win. Takani, who finished 3rd at Nashville a week ago. And the 31 of Catherine Hart, who had an engine failure at Nashville. Looking good right now. It is a tale of 2 groups at the moment. As the sun begins to fully set. Really good run for a lot of cars right now that really needed it. Catherine Hart, one of them. Porter Kelly, another. Mia Valdez, also on that list. Mateus Michelin back in the top 10. He's been in that bubble for a little bit. He's in the top 10 mix, so is Bianca Lucero. I'm just surprised to see that the 3 struggling the most right now, Kovalkiewicz, Lecty, and Kinoshita. Kinoshita, the pollster in this race, now dead last as the order runs. And that is a huge shuffling of the points positions going into Indianapolis. Things a little bit more calm now, but everyone knows that there is another pit stop in the wings You got to get to about lap 120 before that window really opens, but I would imagine everyone's going to try to get as close to 170 as possible here. Everyone should be in by lap 180. I'd imagine some drivers might short pit. But looking at how the first pit stop went, the overcuts seem to be the most effective. And it makes sense. Less fuel, lighter car, a little bit easier. As Porter looks to the inside of Catherine Hart, no dice there. Completing lap 105. Almost everyone in the top 10 have led laps at this point. Thomas Rogers has yet to lead a lap. Neither has Michelin or Ishibashi, but the other 7 drivers have. Catherine Hart has led now 13 laps. Evangeline Porter now back out front to lead her 4th lap. Porter Kelly, Draco, Valdez led a couple laps there into the pit cycle. Wyatt Jones, 47, still the most laps led. And Cameron Jackson's led 10. And now it's the Porter sisters once again out front. Eva and Stephanie. 1-2. Draco 3rd, Catherine Hart 4th. Ford still the predominant car, but there's a Chevrolet there with Porter Kelly, who's looking at the race lead. Peeks to the inside, keeps the door open. She knows what it's like to win here at Homestead. Across the line, has the race lead. Porter Kelly once again out front. It's been a while since she's won a race in the Champ Car World Series. There's Thomas Rogers in the mix as well. That 2 car is fighting right now. Right now is the only car fighting for Team Impulse. Just scrolling down the field here, just browsing and perusing. Not a fun time. Artyom Kozlov back in this main group, thankfully. And Glover right at the tail end of it. You have to hazard that they might be saving fuel or tires, but they are so far adrift of this lead group right now. You do not want to get gapped by this group too much that you can't make it up. Remember that these laps are going quickly. At their slowest, they were still going in the low 24s. Sorry, high 24s, 24.9s. 24.2. By Kovalkiewicz is the fastest lap. That's 222.5 miles an hour. So Kovalkiewicz has the speed in that 96 car. Just not able to close in and get back into the main group. Neither is Nicole Lecter or Kenny Kenosha, who are still adrift by 2 seconds. They are still struggling right now. Rogers looking for a chance at the front of the field. Porter Kelly still leads. Draco in 3rd. Valdez, though, also in the mix in 4th right now. Rogers closing right in on Porter Kelly. Now Rogers a lap leader. He's got his first lap led. That's a bonus point in his pocket. Draco wants to get back to the race. He's led 29 laps so far. Into the outside went Catherine Hart to stay ahead of Wyatt Jones. Swooped to the inside lane in front of Jones, washed him out a little bit. But holy cow, this has been a fantastic race so far. We're finishing lap 115. And Rogers once again out front, but it's a close margin. And Wyatt Jones again peeks to the inside, but nothing going. Jones in 4th, Porter 5th. Porter Kelly in 6th. They'll swap positions there as Mia Valdez in the top 5 now. Michelin, Lucero, and Velicevic, your top 10 at the moment, but it's ever changing. Porter right now in the 7th spot. Last car in that lead group, Michelin trying to attach himself to that lead group. He has separated himself from Lucero, Velicevic, and Takani. And you see the single file fest going on right now. Everyone right now catching up to the race leaders as they fight it out. Rogers out front. Leading laps still over Draco and Hart. Here comes the 25 of Wyatt Jones in the conversation piece once again. Just outside the top 3, looking to get in. Leading lap 120 of 200. We'll have 80 laps to go at the line. See the teammates side by side there. Hart and Draco. Looking strong, right where they want to be. And there is the fight. Wyatt Jones wanted to have that space open up. It did on its own. He'll swoop in and take second right back. He wants to get back to the lead of the race. He led 47 laps, largely uncontested early on, has not led since. Would like to get back to the front of the field. Thomas Rogers, 2-time race winner this season, would love to make it 3. He's not won that many races in his career in a single season. And what is a contract year for the 2-car. Entering the season, Rogers was considered to be the weakest link of the group for Team Impulse, and he has, in a surprising turn of form, has become their largest asset. As that 2-car continues to fight at the front of the field, now 11 laps led at the line. But Wyatt Jones, ever present, and in the conversation. Again, outstanding so far. Draco. It's falling back a little bit here. Wyatt Jones leads the way, but Draco now outside the top 6, almost down to 7th, almost down to 8th place here, because that is Michelin that has joined the group. Jones continues to lead. And a massive show of force right now. Rogers second, Porter third, under threat from Captain Hart. And the Australian rookie once again shuffles back into the top 3. This has been an outstanding race so far. I don't think we were expecting to see this many cars in the conversation. Christina Wynn, CEO of Champ Car said that they were going to work on improving the racing at a lot of facilities. They took note of Nashville. They took note of Miami. They took note of Indianapolis. And said, World Series is harder to figure out because of all the development the teams are doing. We'll find a solution and we'll put it forward. They put it forward. Little air dams on the side pods of these cars, doing just enough to give us an absolute show without completely inhibiting the cars at hand. Speeds are still insanely fast right now. 219 mile an hour lap time for Wyatt Jones last time through. Catherine Hart and Matthias Michelin went a little bit quicker. Everyone pushing boundaries at the moment. As this group continues to fight, Catherine Hart dives it right to the inside lane, across the line. Wyatt Jones still leads, but Catherine Hart wants the race lead. And she'll get it. The Tasmanian doing a great job so far. But there comes Nashville's own Thomas Rogers. We say Nashville's own, he's from Rocky Top, which is closer to Knoxville. But Nashville is where he calls home. His helmet represents that of the Tennessee Volunteers. Here comes Andrew Draco to the point. That's a Valdez led that lap. Everyone's shuffling now. And this battling allows not only that second group to reel back in a little bit, but it allows the third group, that three-car straggling crew of Lekti, Kovalkiewicz, and Kenosha back into the fray a little bit, because they are also closing in. And look at this fight. Draco and Hart out front. The teammates 1 and 2, and then it's an absolute madhouse the further back you go. The lights completely on, the sun completely set. And you can tell the grip has increased as the track has cooled down a little bit. Everyone now fighting a little bit more up front. Wyatt Jones battling Porter Kelly. Everyone down the back straight away. In a heartbeat, 3 wide, Rogers puts Porter in the middle. Porter Kelly out in the dry lane. And once again, outstanding driving by the field so far. As we complete lap 135. It has been an absolute treat so far, with less than 70 laps to go. 65, 64 at the line. Side by side, Rogers and Jones. Here comes Porter, sailing in like an absolute torpedo, trying to go from 5th to 3rd. And now the main two groups have converged together as one once again. Let's see what Velicevic and Takani have to offer, as well as Cameron Jackson and Esther Hofson. There's Simona LaRoe. There's Cameron Jackson, the 19 car, who's led 10 laps of this race. Loud and proud for some unusual names in this race so far. The Hard Rock 300 does not disappoint. Teammates changing positions up front. Catherine Hart looking for the race lead over her teammate. And through turns 1 and 2, we'll get it. Draco slots right back in line. Rogers up to 3rd, now with a hand on the slipstream of the teammates. But being interrupted once again by Wyatt Jones. 3 wide situation, not great for Valdez. Perfect for Porter, though, and for Porter Kelly. Car in the wall, this Valdez. Valdez scraped the wall on the exit of 2. And now left scrambling. Caught safely by Michelin on the outside lane, but will drop pretty safely out of the top half of the field. Shufan Jiang, we've not said much about her. Taiwanese driver in this race. Still a lot of time left, though. At least one more pit stop to go. Wyatt Jones firmly in third, now ahead of Thomas Rogers, trying to close in on the Phantom Motors teammates. It's Ford 1, 2, 3. Then a Toyota, Chevrolet, and then another Ford with Porter. It has been absolutely sensational so far. And here comes Draco, peeks to the inside. His teammate, Catherine Hart, goes to the front of the field. Hart stays second. For a moment, Wyatt Jones will not take that away as well. And Hart will drop to third. Meanwhile, battle here between Rogers, Porter-Kelly, and Porter with Alexander in the mix once again. Quiet in this entire middle stanza so far. Now the groups have reconvened, and they are in the mix. Alexander trying to find a way around the two of Rogers. And there's a new influx of talent moving forward. No retirements, no cautions, no problems so far. In the first 144 laps, we're on lap 145. Coming to start lap 146. It is Draco that leads over Jones and Hart. Ebb and flow of this race right now, favoring Wyatt Jones, favoring Elise Alexander, Simona Leroux a little bit more. Some more cars give pursuit towards the top five, the podium, and the race win. After pit stops, the field was kind of spread out by about 8 seconds. It's now down to about 6 between first and last place. So they've closed in by about 2 seconds. Here comes Captain Hart once again. Got around Wyatt Jones. Wasted no time. Once again, dispatching her teammate. And you'll see this merry-go-round happen a decent amount the further we go on. Clean air is a blessing and a curse. Blessing, it goes a little bit easier on the tires. Curse, it's a little bit harder on the fuel mileage. Everyone has to make adjustments between dirty air and clean air. You've got the roll bars for both the front and the rear of the car, and then the weight jacker, which is the right rear spring offset. Everyone playing with those throughout the lap, sometimes 2 times a lap, on the front straightaway and the back straightaway, or if you're in traffic versus not in traffic. Everyone has different preferences for how you use those tools. And here comes Porter-Kelly to second place. The Advent Health, number 60, P2, and closing in quickly on the rookie. 2 rookies in this field, Hart and Takani. Hart leads, Takani right now 14th. Takani shined 2 weeks ago in Nashville. Hart trying to shine here tonight in Miami. And what is a much needed result for the 31 team if they can get it. Entering this race, Catherine Hart was 24th in the points. For those not familiar, the Champ Car Challenger Series, the top 4 in that series have the ability to be promoted to the World Series at the expense of the bottom 4 in the World Series. The bottom 4 entering this race was the 77 Highlight Racing Machine at Simone Leroux, the 31 Phantom Motors car of Catherine Hart, the 80 Rosgreaves racing car of Astrid Crane, and the 21 Vanta racing car of Marcus Petrovich. The 88 of Bianca Lucero, the 60 of Porter Kelly, and the 78 of Nicole Letti also in danger there. All of them having interesting races here in Miami so far, with Indianapolis looming for the 500. Draco gets around the 25 at Jones. That's for 4th. Side by side, further up the field. This is 6th place, battling between between Leroux, Simone Leroux, and Elise Alexander. Alexander gets the favor out of that. And then Shifan Zhang in 8th. And here comes Andrew Draco attacking Thomas Rogers for 3rd. And he gets it. And Leroux wants 6th place back. 10th place currently held by none other than Astrid Crane ahead of Kobayashi. Then you have Valdez, Takani in this mix, Jackson. And then that's where Evangeline Porter dropped back all the way outside the top 10 here, from down to 15th place. Not a great place for Porter to be right now. Michelin Ishibashi in the mix as well. Artem Kozlov moving forward slowly but surely, as is BK Glover. Still 3 cars separated. Letti, Kenosha, and Kovalkiewicz. Still a little bit further away as Porter Kelly goes to the front of the field. A bit of a technical issue there. We are still rolling. And that's trouble. Car in the fence. Who was that? That was Leroux in the fence. What happened to Leroux? Caution's out, and that's why. The engine gave out for the 77. And into the fence she goes, high side. To get out of the way. Everyone else gets through pretty safely. And Porter Kelly leads us under our first caution of the night. Ooh, very interesting there. Draco stays out. And not alone in that either. Petrovich stays out as well. I believe that was another car. I believe one of the red and black machines. There's a few in this field. That is Kenosha that stays out. 3rd place Kenosha. A lot of cars coming in. What should be their final stop? Collision between teammates, Alexander and Porter. Porter Kelly, excuse me. Alexander trying to come to her box. Porter Kelly leaving her box. Jones gets out pretty clean though. Alexander gets out pretty clean as well, other things being considered. Spotter's cam from right above our broadcast booth here in Miami. We're about 40 laps to go is what we're coming to right now, so less than 40 laps to go in this race. And what a change this has been. Simone Leroux, 77 for Red Bull Highlight Racing, out of this race, the first retirement of what has otherwise been a pretty faultless event so far. So everyone get ready to go back racing here in Homestead. And oh no! That's where the smoke's coming from. Andrew Draco. After an engine failure for Simona Leroux and Chevrolet, a potential engine failure for Andrew Draco and Ford for Phantom Motors from the lead of this race. That gives the lead to Petrovic. They will stay under yellow for another lap. And now the lights go out. Draco able to return to pit lane safely. It is Petrovic and Kinoshita leading the way, and Draco's race officially done and over. Maybe. They may try to get that repaired. That means it may not be an engine failure. It may be a gearbox issue on the 13 crew. There might be hope for something in case that this race does get out of hand here in the final 38 laps. Draco stays in pit lane. Petrovic, Kinoshita lead the way. What has been an absolutely wild turn of events. And again, Andrew Draco in pit lane. That's the 13 car. On pit lane. Pace truck takes the left-hand side to the pit lane. Petrovic controls the restart. Green flag in the air, away we go. And indeed, I believe Andrew Draco's race is officially over. It is. So 2 engine failures in less than 6 laps for Leroux and Draco. Now out of the conversation. Pretty wide open. And it is a scramble and a bunch of cars down pit lane. All of a sudden, did they enter a closed pit lane? That is going to be very curious. It gives Porter Kelly the race lead, almost undisputed ahead of Thomas Rogers. Who all did that get out? A lot of cars. Porter Kelly in pit lane now as well, so Porter Kelly not immune. And this is stop and hold territory right now. Entering a closed pit lane is what they just got dinged on that caution. Wow. And they're all now pinned a lap down. Rogers leads over Astrid Crane. There's Shufin Zhang in 3rd. Elise Alexander in 4th. 5th place, Kake Kobayashi. 6th place. Battle between Von Sonen and Valdez. Von Sonen edging out ahead. 16 cars on the lead lap. Porter Kelly, the first car, a lap down. And their race is all undone. Wyatt Jones' race undone. Interestingly enough, Kinoshita and Petrovic had to come in. They didn't enter pit lane at all under that caution. Very concerning and curious there. But again, Petrovic and Kinoshita did not come down pit lane at all. So I wonder if they came in kind of just knowing they needed to be around people and took that fuel anyway, because they just needed to splash and go. Hard to tell at the moment. See if we can speak to them after the race here. Asher Crane, meanwhile, front of the field, ahead of Shufin Zhang and Elise Alexander. Ahead of Thomas Rogers, Kobayashi, Von Sonnen all in the mix too, Mia Valdez. There's BK Glover in the mix. Looks like all three of the Team Impulse cars got away with that, but Kozlov's still struggling right now. The laps tick away. Alexander going after the race lead, gets second place away from Shufin Zhang. 29 laps to go in the Hard Rock 300 here in Homestead. Asher Crane looking for once again a race win in that 80 car. Elise Alexander, top 10 in the points entering. Still looking for her first race win in a contract year. Talk about being hard to deny. Alexander could make that a really good conversation piece in those negotiations with Streka Motorsports, who have Katerina Malenkovic in the wings as part of that development team, and Natalia Kurachenko. Rogers gets around. Von Sonnen going to try to do the same. And this race flipped upside down in a heartbeat. All the main contenders we thought we were looking at. Kinoshita a lap down, obviously pole sitter of this race, but was nowhere all race long. Now a lap down. Porter Kelly, a hard charger all race long. Now a lap down. Wyatt Jones, 54 laps led, will not be a contender for the race win. Evangeline Porter also in the mix there. Catherine Hart, 27 laps led, was in the mix there. Andrew Draco out of this race with an engine failure. It's all bizarre and surreal at the moment. It leaves a really interesting group, and it shouldn't be surprising. Thomas Rogers, Kaige Kobayashi in this group, already race winners this season. Both of them split the races in Melbourne. Rogers also won an Adelaide to kick off the season. Mia Valdez has been strong at points. Asher Crane has been strong in points. Shufin Zhang has been strong in points, top 10 in points still. Anastasia Von Sonnen, strong in the race, just hasn't really been put together for qualifying. There's Nicole Lechty, who this bails out significantly. Really needed a good race. Hadn't had it. The caution put Lechty right back in the conversation, and now in the top 10 to really kind of put her championship ambitions on track. Rogers leads once again over Kobayashi. Coming to 20 laps to go. Sakura Ishibashi trying to avoid going 2 laps down. That'd just be insult to injury at this point. Sitting at 24th position right now. Talk about a low light. We have some clarification here. So penalties for unsafe pit releases for some of those that came and had to serve penalties there earlier. Passing under yellow for Petrovic and Kenosha, they pulled up to the front of the field under caution too soon. They had to wait in line, and they pulled up too soon to catch up to the pace car. They pulled up too early, and that was their infringement. So unsafe pit entry and passing under caution were the penalties that were assigned. Which is a nightmare scenario there. Ishibashi giving Rogers some draft here. Von Sonnen looking for a chance at a race win. Kobayashi looking for his second race win if he can grab it. Coming to 17 laps to go. It has been a wild race so far. It's set to get a little bit more wild here. Rogers checked up big time by Ishibashi, who will go 2 laps down. And it allows Von Sonnen and Kobayashi to catch right up. And Von Sonnen opens the door. To the inside goes Von Sonnen. Leading a lap for the first time tonight. Rogers led 25 laps. He will lead no more for right now. Von Sonnen now ahead of Kobayashi. Rogers in third, under threat once again to go down to Shufan Zhang, who looks for third and grabs it. Mia Valdez also in the mix still. And in this conversation piece, there is Julieta Conning. Right now sitting 6th, outside the top 5. But within earshot, there's Astrid Crane, the 80. There's the 11 of Elise Alexander. Right now, Anastasius Von Sonnen's best friend is the 33 of Sakura Ishibashi, who is keeping Shufan Zhang at bay. And now it's Honda's 1, 2, and Ford in third. Look at Astrid Crane move up around Takani. Alexander going to try to do the same, sends it in, forces Takani up high. And it opens a path for Rogers to get a move back forward. Artyom Kozlov right now nowhere. Really on an island, unfortunately. Sitting right now in the 16th spot. As the fighting resumes, front of the field is still Von Sonnen. 11 laps to go. For Anastasius Von Sonnen, the Austrian. There's only ever been one Austrian winner, Eliza Cole, for Team Impulse back in 2010. It's been 14 years since someone from Austria has won a race in the Champ Car World Series. Von Sonnen, the first driver since Cole to race while representing the nation of Austria. There has never been a Taiwanese race winner in Champ Car, and that's where Shufan Zhang sits in second place. There's been a driver that's won a race from mainland China way in line. No one's won from Hong Kong. Valerie Fang, representative of Hong Kong, and no one's run from Taiwan. They sit at the front of the field right now. Mia Valdez, 2014 world champion, sits in third, still looking for her first win on her return. Has not won in a Champ Car World Series since obviously 2014, her championship year. Not quite the same winless drought. She won races outside of Champ Car in that intervening period, but would love to get back to victory lane here on a race that has taken the rest of the Captain Upper Racing team out of the contention spot. Von Sonnen using the slipstream from Ishibashi to stay ahead. 7 laps to go. unlikely competitors for the race win. But here we go. Shufin Zhang looking, timing the run. Going after the race lead. Mia Valdez trying to poach. 6 to go. And there's Valdez. In the conversation, there's Elise Alexander as well. Von Sonen's going to close in and get behind Valdez quickly. He does. Alexander will not be stopped by that, though. Alexander sends it down to the inside. Shufin Zhang leads with 5 laps to go. And there goes Asher Crane. Von Sonen's bleeding continues. He'll slot in front of Thomas Rogers in 5th. And now Shufin Zhang's best friend is Sakura Ishibashi. But Ishibashi's teammate's right behind her. And Shufin Zhang's got to make a very important call here. You've got to get around Ishibashi at this point. Ishibashi's backing Shufin Zhang right up to Valdez, giving Valdez a chance to get a race win. Shufin Zhang peeks to the inside. Puts her nose there. Moves Ishibashi out of the way. Valdez now has to do the same. 3 laps to go at the line. Valdez is going to probably send it here. That's exactly what happens. Not quite close enough, but enough to send Shufin Zhang up the road. Side by side. And look at Asher Crane in the mix. This is not over yet. But Mia Valdez leads with 2 laps to go. Asher Crane, Elise Alexander goes 3, looking for 2nd. She's got it. 2 laps to go. There's a buffer between Valdez and Alexander. A lot of fairy tale stories in this group right now. In trouble, car spun out. And it's Wyatt Jones up and over. It looks like it's Wyatt Jones and Stephanie Porter Kelly. The caution comes out. We'll end it under yellow. And it will be Mia Valdez, the race winner, over Elise Alexander, and Anastasia Von Sonnen gets 3rd. But a huge trouble. It's Kinoshita and Wyatt Jones, the 2 that are most affected. They'll get settled in here. Mia Valdez behind the Ford Raptor pace truck will win in Miami over Elise Alexander and Anastasia Von Sonnen back on the podium over Astra Crane, Natalia Velicevic, Shufin Zhang, Thomas Rogers, Elisa Kovalkiewicz, Kage Kobayashi, and Mateus Michelin. But a huge crash to end this race. So let's see what happens here. This caution that ends the race. Porter Kelly involved in it as well. We saw that. Kenosha involved in it. Oh, this is bad. Oh my goodness. 2 cars up and over in a hurry. Captain Hart and Evangeline Porter get through it. Hard impacts there for Wyatt Jones and Kenny Kinoshita, the worst of the bunch. Porter Kelly, a lot of rear damage mostly. That's why Porter Kelly was so wounded. Oh my goodness. Obviously, hopefully everyone's okay. Obviously a need for discretion here for the pace truck, who ends up leading Mia Valdez and the rest of the field across the finish line to finish this race. And you see the field coming back down. After a crazy race, here in Homestead. Mia Valdez, the race winner over Elise Alexander. The running order will be top of your screen. Anastasia Sponson in third, Asher Crane fourth, Natalia Velisevich top 5. Ahead of Shufin Zhang, Thomas Rogers, Alicia Kovalkiewicz, Kage Kobayashi, Mateus Michelin, Julia Takani, Bianca Lucero, Cameron Jackson, Nicole Lechty, BK Glover, and Artyom Kozlov, the last cars on the lead lap. Esther Hofson, Marcus Petrovich, Catherine Hart all a lap down, same with Evangeline Porter. 2 laps down for Sakura Ishibashi and for Stephanie Porter-Kelly, who did take the finish. 4 cars out, 2 for engine failures, Andrew Draco and Simona Leroux. And then for that violent crash, coming to the white flag, Kenny Kenosha and Wyatt Jones out of this race. And those are the 2 drivers that our thoughts are with right now as they get evaluated, and hopefully we hear the best news for both those drivers as we leave Homestead-Miami tonight. The quest for the Indy 500 is on, but it has taken a detour. 2 races up next here on ABN Sports, on top of the qualifying and the practice for the 111th Indianapolis 500, the Gainbridge 300 for the Champ Car Challenger Series on May 17th, May 19th, the 111th Indianapolis 500 itself. Practice begins on ABN Sports Plus Monday, May 6th. Media Day later on this week. May 2nd, May 3rd, Media Day here at Indianapolis for ABN Sports. Again, our thoughts for Wyatt Jones and for Kenny Kenosha are more important tonight. We hope you join us as we gather more information on abnsports.com. On behalf of everyone here for ABN Studios, for everyone here at ABN Sports, the AT&T Champ Car World Series, we wish best thoughts and well wishes for Wyatt Jones and Kenny Kenosha. I hope you join us next time as our coverage of the Indianapolis 500 begins in May. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. So long, everybody.